Ah, the truck's not high enough. Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is all going to be about this Ford 9-inch. That's right, I splurged a little bit. I wanted to keep this kind of a budget build, junkyard build. My original plans were to go to the junkyard, pull an 8.8 out of either an Explorer or Mustang or something, and drop it into the S10. But after I started crunching the numbers and the time that it would take to narrow, get C-clip eliminators, axles, gears, and then the time for me to narrow the axle, set up the gears, and do all of that, it just made sense for me to call the guys at Quick Performance and order up this 9-inch. Now, I did pay for this rear end. They're not sponsoring me at all for this. This is just my experience with them. But if you guys are looking for any kind of rear end or axle parts, give these guys a call. I spoke to a guy named Max there, and he went above and beyond, helped me with every question I had. He listened to what my plans were for it, recommended what I should do, and gave it to me at a really good deal. By far the cheapest, but yet best quality rear end you can buy. So I'll just go over the setup of it real quick and tell you all that I got. Now, the third member isn't here yet. It's on its way. That was the last thing that they shipped out, and it's not here yet, but I can tell you about it. So this is Quick Performance's Fab 9-inch housing. It's an all-new housing that's completely fabricated with 1/4-inch thick tubes, billet end caps. It is also internally braced, fill and drain plugs. It is the stock width. It already has the axle perches and everything set for an S10, so I don't have to do any welding or any guesswork or any measuring. Just bolt it in and go. 35 spline axles with the 1/2-inch ARP. That's either 1/2-inch by 3-inch ARP studs, and 11-inch disc brake kit. That's kind of the rundown on this axle. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment. If I can't answer it, I guarantee the guys over there at Quick Performance can do it for you. Just give them a call and they'd be happy to help you. But yeah, like I said, I'm no way at all sponsored by them at all, getting paid to say any of this. It's just whenever I work with a company that I feel deserves recognition, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So that's just my 2 cents on the company. So let's get this rear end out, get this one in. Oh, I just got a new subscriber. Shay Henderson. Thanks for the sub, dude. I've actually been picking up quite a few subscribers lately, so thank you to everyone that's been subscribing lately. Got a couple cool comments lately, telling me that they are enjoying the videos and stuff, so that's always cool. But so basically mocked up these brakes the other night. I was gonna start doing some brake lines because after I painted this, I realized I needed to weld some tabs on it to hold my brake lines. But I forgot my tubing cutter and all my brake flaring stuff at work, so instead I'm gonna start putting this thing in, do the brake lines later. But so until then, I'm gonna strip this back down so it's light. Where did I put my pliers? I just had them. They're in my pocket. Don't you hate when you do that? You try and find your sunglasses and they're on your hat. Okay, so normally to get these axles out, I put the rotor on backwards with some lug nuts, but turns out I don't have any 1/2 inch lug nuts here. Of course, these aren't the right size. That's metric. That's 7/16. Use the rotor like a slide hammer to knock the axle out, but I can't do that. So I'm going to try and hit it out with this here 2x4 and see how much I can fail at this. That was moving. There we go. That actually wasn't that bad. While I've still got the weight of the vehicle on the jack so that the suspension's at ride height, I'm going to undo these shocks because it's much easier to undo shocks at ride height with the weight on the suspension than with the axle all the way droop, because it's going to be pulling on them and fighting you. So what I'm undoing the leaf spring shackle bolts for is, my plan is to get those out, and then since it's a spring under setup, I'll get those out, I'll get the U-bolts off, and then the leaf springs will lay on the ground and I can just roll the rear end out on the tires. Gotta come this way. Ah, the truck's not high enough. It's day 2. It's actually 2 days later. We last left off with me failing to get the rear end out from under the truck. The battery died on my camera, so I just kept on working. I was able to get it out, as you can see. Don't mind all the mess, but got it out, and I actually got the new housing in. So I'll just show you that real quick. So the housing's in, got the 3-inch lift blocks put in, the competition engineering shocks are in. There's Roxy. Oh, gross. My gear showed up, so that's why I'm back out here working on it. Got this here, and it's also dark over in this corner. I need to put a light over here so that it's not so dark. But anyways, flip this around so that you can see. But 35 spline spool with 370 gears. Yukon nodular iron case with billet support, billet 1350 yoke, and it's just ready to go in. It's all pre-assembled, everything's set. They've already ran a pattern on there. Housing didn't come with studs in it, so I got to press all the studs into the housing before I put the center section in, and then I think that's about it. Then I can slap this thing together. So let's get to it. Right now I'm just using brake clean to clean this mating surface of any kind of oils, because silicone and oils don't mix. So if there's any kind of oily residue when you're trying to use silicone as a sealant, it's not going to adhere properly. It's going to leak. So I always make sure that before I apply silicone, when using it, or RTV or whatever you want to call it, to get a nice clean surface. So now that I got that, I'll do it to the third member that's over here to the side of me. Okay, got that clean. I'm gonna get some RTV. Get my gun working right. What is going on? Oh no! Forgot to stick something in there to pop the seal, so it just all blew out the back. Oh man, what a rookie. Can't believe I forgot to do that. That's what happens when you're more worried about trying to make a video than pay attention to what you're doing. There we go. Of course I got it upside down. Okay, here we go. Go to your home. Alright, so the instructions say that they recommend just putting some silicone on the outer bearing race to seal up these axles. They use a sealed outer bearing, so you don't need a tube seal or anything, but they recommend just a thin coat of silicone around the outer race of the bearing just to help keep anything from seeping by, so do that. A little bit here. Maybe just a little bit inside here too. Just a little bit. Okay. The short side. This bearing sticks out about 1/8 of an inch. That's normal on these. Typically with a backing plate and then your axle retainer plate, the backing plate takes up that gap. So if you're going to like a disc brake setup, typically you'll see the axle plate on here and it's bowed over because they've just squished it and bent it to get the bolts tight. But they actually supply this bracket that has that groove machined in it to take up that gap. So, but I've done it with the axle plate and had it bent and never had any problems. But this is just a nicer, you know, option with this machined edge. So, truck, toolbox, truck, toolbox. Why am I like this? Alright guys, so that does it for the... My lens is really dirty. Hold on. Alright guys, so that does it for this video. I got the rear end all completely in. Got the brakes on. Both sides, both axles in, shocks, everything. Before someone comments, yes, I've got the U-bolts on. I'm going to be doing the traction bars later, so I just put the U-bolts and plates on for now so that I can get it down on the tires and make it move again. I didn't have 1/2 inch lug nuts, so I couldn't put the tires on it and set it down. It's just kind of a bummer because I kind of want to see how it's sitting. The only thing, I think I'm gonna have to cut this bump stop off. It's already pretty close and this is gonna come up quite a bit. But yeah, all I've got left to do is get the tires on it, get it set down on its weight, and tighten up all the leaf spring shackles and everything. Oh, and I gotta put fluid in the diff too, so better write that down so that I don't forget. But yeah, anyways, like I said, the rear end is in. I'm stoked. I can't wait to get this thing going. One more thing off of the list. So do me a favor guys, subscribe if you haven't already. Like, comment, do your thing, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.